fought for a 118-pound alphabet soup belt and again came up short. But that was his only loss among his last 13 fights. Very confident, and he's told us that he's matured as a fighter. Rich, the tail of the tape.
All right, let's see how these two fighters stack up against each other numerically this evening as they get into the ring. Both are great veterans. You see the age. They are a little bit long in the tooth. And as far as the physical advantages, those go to Mauricio Martinez as he steps into the ring here tonight against Gerry Penalosa. Height and reach definitely in the Martinez corner.
For the official introductions, here's Lupe Contreras.
From the Don Haskins Center, El Paso, Texas, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Southwest Airlines and the new Tampico Energy Drink with its powerful citrus taste. Tampico Energy Drink is El Más Bravo. And HBO pay-per-view, we welcome you to an evening of world-class professional boxing, being supervised by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Executive Director is William Kuntz. Boxing Administrator is Dickie Cole. This bout set for 10 rounds of boxing in the bantamweight division. The judges are Sam Garza, Raul Valencia, and Gerry Wright. The referee, Ruben Carrion. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He steps in wearing blue trunks trimmed in black and white, and weighing in at 119 pounds. As a professional, he maintains a record consisting of 31 victories, along with 6 losses, 1 draw, and 21 of his victories coming by way of knockout. De Colón, Panama, Mauricio Ñañara Martinez. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing black trunks trimmed in gold, and weighing in at an identical 119 pounds. With a professional record of 50 victories, with only 5 losses, 2 draws, and 33 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The former WBC Super Flyweight Champion of the world, fighting out of San Carlos, Las Filipinas, Gerry Penalosa.
All right, Gerry. Let's go. All right, Mauricio, Gerry, we know the pre-fight instruction in the dressing room. Any questions? I'm going to caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. Most important of all, protect yourselves at all times. This is high right here. This is going to be fair, all right? Touch gloves. Return to your corner.
Ruben Carrion, the third man inside tonight, the referee for this 10-round bantamweight fight. Gerry Penalosa, 34 years old, former world champion at 115 pounds, was the junior bantam champ back in 97 and 98. Interestingly enough, Rich, southpaw versus southpaw, and Gerry's comment was, I love it. Yeah, I feast on lefties.
He likes to fight lefties. In fact, Freddie Roach, his trainer, told me this morning, he said he kills southpaws in the gym. He loves to be in there with them.
Natural right-handed fighter, and of course that gives him a good advantage with that lead jab and the potential for a very accurate right hook. Shows it off there against Martinez. Both men trading jabs.
I believe your boxing purists tonight who are watching will really appreciate both fighters here. These are 2 skilled fighters. Joe, they both have great technique. They've both been around the block. They've both been in with good fighters. They're just real professionals, real professional prize fighters.
And they're at a stage in their careers where one man is going to advance himself and get back in the mix, and the other is going to take a pretty big drop. So it's a good fight, a risk-reward fight.
And if that is the case with Penalosa, I think it would surprise people if he really does get back all the way back to the top once again. I mean, he was being urged by some writers in the Philippines as long as 4 years ago to retire.
And of course, Rich, the extra motivation that they come into this bout. When they started the week, they were not going to be on the televised pay-per-view card. And now maybe a little extra motivation to show off their skills to the big audience. Straight left hand by Martinez.
Martinez is ranked by all the sanctioning bodies across the board in their top 10s, their various top 10s, and is ranked as high as #1 in one of them.
Same organization that he held a belt in just 6 years ago. He's won 12 of his last 13 as Martinez.
Martinez looking to pick up the pace here a little bit.
Both men busy in this first round, scheduled for 10. Good work with the jab, tries to come behind with the straight left hand. Out to the body with the jab, just misses.
Sometimes southpaw versus southpaw fights erupt and evolve into something rather ugly to watch. But with these two, that's kind of doubtful.
That was a nice straight left hand from Penalosa.
That was the cleanest punch of the round. And he's looking to get real aggressive now after it. That's the strength advantage there for Martinez, Joe.
Naturally bigger man. That was a concern with Freddie Roach and the corner of Penalosa. Oh, and that left hand does damage.
2, 3, 4.
That was a beauty,
5,
and that was
6,
a legit knockdown.
7, 8. All right,
I'm surprised that Martinez would get tagged with a punch like that. That one came from way back.
What a start for the 34-year-old Filipino.
Hey, be careful with those punches. The uppercut. He's trying to bait you in. How you feeling? When you make him miss. Don't just, he's a southpaw just like you. So make him miss.
All right, Penalosa just landed a left hand moments before he was able to land the knockdown blow. There you see the left hand. That wobbled him a bit. And then that straight left hand. And look at that left knee. You see it just crumple underneath.
Seconds out. Let's go.
That's a dead giveaway that that's a real knockdown, folks. And Penalosa, who was very aggressive in his last fight, comes out aggressive here tonight and throws that whistling left hand.
Big start to the evening for Penalosa. Freddie Roach said that technically speaking, Penalosa is the best of the Filipino fighters. And now that he's sitting down on his punches, he likes where his future is going. Saw a glimpse of that early on.
Yeah, he seems to want to be a more entertaining, more energetic fighter in the ring now. He was very aggressive in that last fight that he had, and he's starting out the same way.
Hey, at 34 years old, no time to waste. Martinez with his legs back underneath him here in the second round. Stunned in the final minute of that first round. Flush left hand from Penalosa.
Martinez now beginning to answer back and trying to get some respect from Penalosa, who was walking in fairly uninhibited.
Tries the uppercut.
Gerry was out of boxing a couple years, retired. Said I came back because I just missed something.
4-0 since on that comeback. On paper, this is the hardest fight during that stretch. And that 2-year retirement, 2002 to 2004. But there's so much momentum, Rich, right now in the whole Filipino boxing scene, all obviously sparked by Manny Pacquiao.
It is unbelievable. When Penalosa was champion, Joe, it was kind of like Gerry and, you know, 10 other guys, but nobody really knew. But now, of course, the Filipino fighters are really making their mark tremendously, led by Pacquiao. Here he comes again.
It's a good combination. He went right hook, straight left, and then 2 more punches follow. Right hand to the body. Left hand upstairs from Martinez.
I thought that was very good recuperative powers by Martinez in the first round, Joe, because when he went down, I mean, the way his leg crumpled underneath him and his eyes kind of rolled back a little, he looked really desperately hurt. And by about the count of 5 or 6, he suddenly seemed to be back together again.
He had the wet noodle leg, and now he's sturdy. And another good left hand. Not about round at all for Martinez.
No, he's very active. And again, this is a skilled fighter. And he's a clever guy who knows a lot of different tricks.
Fighter with a lot of career momentum. He's won 12 of 13. His only loss was in Thailand, fighting for the belt yet again.
I want to alert you to a couple of things about Martinez. One thing that occurred in a couple of fights, he has been down a number of times. In fact, in one of his title fights that he fought over in England, he was knocked down 3 times in the first 4 rounds and still came back to win that fight on a KO.
Much better second round for Martinez. Gerry Penalosa was searching for something back in 2001 when he went over to Japan the same week that his father passed away. Had a lot on his mind, and he lost in a shot for the super flyweight title, Masamori Takayama. Took 2 years off, came under the tutelage of Freddie Roach, and now he says he feels like a new man.
Like most fighters who fight for Freddie Roach, they enjoy, he says, the father-son kind of relationship.
Well, that's definitely evident with Manny Pacquiao. And of course, Penalosa, the roommate and best friend of Pacquiao. So a shared experience.
Of course, Freddie even calls James Toney's son in the corner. So
that was hard to believe. Relationship in and of itself. Interestingly enough, many of those who will watch the daily work of Penalosa compare him to James Toney. Obviously, not around the waist, but in terms of his cool, calm, and patient style in the ring.
Well, that's exactly right, Joe, because, you know, he is very patient. He's very relaxed in the ring, and that's 2 of the hallmarks of Toney, and a guy who looks basically to kind of break down his man bit by bit.
Nobody does that better in the course of recent history than Lights Out Toney.
And I'm sure he smokes far less cigars than does
No doubt
Toney.
about that. Back to the jab, but still some steady and consistent work from Mauricio Martinez.
Right, it's turning into a bit of a jabbing battle now. So who can establish in this southpaw against southpaw matchup the better jab between the two? Martinez is getting himself back into this fight for sure.
That time Martinez utilized the jab to come through the front door and place a straight left hand and then finish with a right hand in a 3-punch combo. Goes to the uppercut, then the straight left. Martinez feels he was robbed last year when he fought for the title against Ratanachai Sorvorapan. That was in Thailand. He's won 3 straight since then. He's been on a tear since 2003, 12 of 13.
Both fighters are really confident. Now Martinez beginning to get his left cross home a little bit, and that's something that Penalosa so far has been able to avoid. But both fighters are confident. Martinez felt, you know, Penalosa's 3 years older than I am, and I'm stronger. As for Penalosa, Freddie Roach showed him the tape of Martinez, and he said to him very simply, he's good, but I'll knock him out.
Confidence. Penalosa, Martinez coming to the end of round number 3.
You're boxing well. You're using your left hand. Don't wait for him. You're doing well with the left. The jab. him back up. Come on, lean back so I can work on the cut. Give me some Vaseline. Come on, lean back. I got some medicine. Give me a towel. Don't worry. Everything's good. You got a lot of heart.
The cut is in the corner of the eye right now. It looks, but if it extends out a little bit more over the top of the eye, it could become a real problem for Martinez. He was met by a quick left hand from Penalosa.
Something we will be monitoring right now, the right eye of Mauricio Martinez. As you heard from Francisco Guzman in his corner, they like the work they got with the left hand. We'll see if Martinez can go back to it here. Closing the distance a little bit here now on the inside, both men. And the uppercut works for Penalosa and then fires off a straight left. One low blow before that right hand, and here comes the warning from Gerry.
Ironically, I was just about to say that the fighters are completely headhunting here. There's hardly been any body punching between the two. And then he throws one and it's low.
Gerry Penalosa's thigh doesn't feel the same way.
Now the fighters are throwing punches, I think, that are loaded with some power here, Joe. These are not pity-pat setup jabs that they're throwing. They're looking to do damage, and they're following up with hard crosses.
As we expected. We said before we set it up to the ring for this fight that this could be the fight that steals the show. Two veterans, two guys that are hungry, two guys that need it, and they have a lot of skill. Good right hook from Penalosa. Uppercut combination and a left hand puts down Martinez again.
5, 6, 7, 8. And Penalosa's as cool as he can be. He looked down at Joe and me and winked as he came back to the neutral corner.
That's confidence. Let's see if he can get after it now. Over a minute to go in round 4. Penalosa on the attack.
Tremendous showing from Penalosa. And the troubling thing for Martinez is, although he's landed clean punches, he hasn't shown that he can hurt Penalosa in the same fashion.
Minute to go in round 4. Martinez trying to survive. He's been on the floor twice so far. Back to the jab. That walking stick has served him well. What hasn't is his defense for the left hand of Penalosa.
Again, Martinez, remember, is a guy with remarkable recuperative powers. He's been knocked down a number of times in his career, but gets up to win. But he doesn't want to keep exchanging 10-8 rounds against him for 10-9 rounds that he wins.
Martinez is a quick healer.
By the way, we've now passed the 400-round mark in the career of Gerry Penalosa.
That's experience, Rich. You can see the blood now streaming down the right side of the face of Martinez.
We got him now. You got to move, but punch and move. And throw the uppercut. Throw the uppercut. The punch is inside. You got to throw. You're okay. Don't just stand there. If you stand there, he's going to hit you. You got to move.
Rich, the left hand once again.
Yeah, another clean knockdown by Penalosa, who was throwing a good flurry of punches. He came forward. He was leaning into the punches. He drove them back and then landed the clean left hand. And again, that left leg just gave way. There you see it crumple just like almost in half. I'm surprised that Penalosa's been able to exhibit this much power against Martinez so early in the fight when Martinez is fresh.
That is what he's been working on in the wild card gym. The ability to power punch. There was a lot of talk about Martinez being a naturally bigger man. And how would that play a role in this fight? Penalosa's punching like the bigger man.
And you just look at the two. They're next to each other, and Martinez looks much more solid at this weight. He looks the bigger man. He looks like he should be the stronger man. But in terms of a sheer punch, we know Penalosa can hurt and drop Martinez. Martinez, although he's landed good blows, has yet really to had any of a real damaging effect.
Guess you eat, drink, and you train with Pacquiao, and it rubs off.
Martinez said he was very hopeful of emulating his uncle, the great Ismael Laguna, and winning 2 world championships. Martinez has 1. He says he sees Ismael Laguna all the time, almost every day. Monitors his progress closely.
Ran into some managerial problems after winning a title belt, but feels very confident in where his career is going right now. But in this second half of this scheduled 10-rounder, he has to overcome the 2 deficits caused in the first and 4th round by the knockdown scored by Penalosa. Oh, that was a good right hand after coming through with the left hand that missed. And then the body shot and the uppercut, and Penalosa accurate as can be.
And Martinez has to give ground. Look at him back off. He's feeling it now. No real material damage done whatsoever to Penalosa.
Martinez falling in.
They asked for more movement from Martinez, and he tried to give that to him earlier in the round. And it looks as though he's trying to here as well. Circling now to his left to try to get away from the left-hand power of Penalosa.
Stood in front for a moment. Will he stay in that pocket? Gets 3 punches off, nothing lands. Now back to the legs for Martinez. Good work with the jab. But another solid round for the Filipino. Still to come tonight, we will see a much talked about prospect. El Paso's very own Tony Escalante. 21-year-old, 13-1. Good hands, good athletic skill and ability, and a big crowd here that's waiting to see what his future will bring. He will be taking on Puerto Rico's Omar Adorno coming up. Penalosa on the attack ridge.
Again, the punching power of Penalosa evident in that last round. And that one that was on the top of the head, but then Mauricio Martinez just stood still. He stood still. He didn't move after taking that shot on the top of the head and received a right hand for his trouble. And I watched him as he walked back to his corner. He was a little bit rubbery leg, Joe.
Seen that a few times tonight. He steadied himself well in the 2nd round after being floored by the big left in the 1st round. He did so again in the final minute of the 4th round, but now has it reached the point as we start this 6th round where he's getting worn down.
Yeah, he did look to me to be a little bit jaded as he walked back to that corner.
Martinez still throwing. Penalosa picking his spots in between. Thought about the uppercut there.
Martinez is skilled at bending at the waist. He's not a guy who necessarily is going to dance around the ring and give you a lot of movement that way, but it hasn't worked for him tonight. And normally he's able to get away from punches even though he's in front of an opponent. And that's why they were asking for more movement from him with his legs in the last round, but basically that didn't work either.
I think this may be a very, very different Gerry Penalosa than Martinez thought he would be facing. Penalosa looks sharp tonight.
Look at that combination. Four
punch combination, then goes back to the left hand.
Gerry is beginning to show a more varied attack in terms of punching to the body as well. And I think he's grinding down Mauricio Martinez.
The good news for Martinez is that the cut around the right eye has not been a major factor. The bad news is Penalosa's offense has been. Martinez still game, still going after it. This is the patience and coolness of Penalosa that we detailed earlier. Misses with the right hook, just glancing.
Penalosa had talked a lot about fighting Rafael Marquez for a bantamweight championship. He was hopeful of doing that, but Marquez stated view at this point is to move up to 122, although he is said to be reconsidering that.
Marquez, one of the pound-for-pound elites, and he has called that bantamweight division home in recent years.
Martinez active in this round. He really manages to get himself back together. It's amazing. I think Martinez won this round.
He's got 4 rounds more to figure things out. But time and time again, he has come back in this fight.
Gerry Penalosa has been very sharp tonight as he listens to Freddie Roach.
Combinations.
Look at the sharp. That's what we're talking about, the sharpness. These are crisp, short, concise punches with a lot of sting on them.
Penalosa and Martinez readying themselves for round 7 here at the Don Haskins Center in El Paso. Joe Tessitore alongside Rich Murata. Rich, interestingly enough, through 6, you can make a very strong case that it's 3 rounds to 3 rounds between Penalosa and Martinez. But Penalosa has the 2 knockdowns, so a 10-8 first round and a 10-8 fourth round.
That's right, and it was close to being a 10-8 fifth round, but probably not. Martinez, I agree with you, has won at least a couple of rounds. The 3rd round was very close and could have gone either way. But I gave that last round to Martinez, and he's starting off pretty good, in pretty good fashion here in round 7.
31-year-old from Panama, former titleist at 118 pounds, currently ranked #1 according to one of the Alphabet Soup sanctioning bodies, and very much determined to stay there. Right hand to the body, then back to the jab.
Martinez, you would think, should be able to out-jab Penalosa. Look at the length of his arms. Those are long arms that Mauricio Martinez has.
Martinez 5'6", Penalosa 5'4", but maybe even more exaggerated when you see it in the ring.
And Martinez now forcing Penalosa back a little bit.
Combination from Martinez. Return fire came in the form of a right hand from Penalosa.
Like so many fighters, Martinez feels that he has been helped in the last year or 2 by utilizing nutritionists and taking vitamins, and feels that he's getting stronger as he goes along. Which may compensate for the natural effects of the aging factor.
And also make up for the natural size advantage held by Martinez. When he brought that point up to us, I said, now, are you doing that in order to cut weight or to get strength? And he said both. Yeah. And it's helped him with both. Martinez backing off as the blood continues to stream down the right side of his face. That cut on the right eye opened up in the third round. Nice jab from Penalosa.
Notice Martinez getting some jump back in his legs now?
No doubt.
Up on his toes again.
They were rubbery in the fourth round, and in the fifth round after that uppercut by Penalosa, but Martinez has settled in nicely. Doubles up the jab there. Sweeping right hand from Penalosa does nothing.
I think the warrior tag certainly applies to Mauricio Martinez.
Penalosa and Martinez through 7 solid rounds.
That's the way to go. Let's get a little water. That's the way. We can do this. Use it. Faster hands. Make sure you touch it. He's only looking for one shot. Come on, don't fall asleep. You're waiting too long. You're falling asleep. This is your fight. He doesn't like it when you hit him to the body. He's dead. He's dead. Come on, you're the hero here.
That's quite a pep talk there, Joe.
Interpreter Ray Torres with his hands full with Francisco Guzman, because Guzman brings the emotion in the corner, and you can hear how confident they are about Martinez's ability to go to the body, but yet, Rich, you also get a sense of urgency from the Martinez corner.
Well, because they're trailing in this fight, and they're running out of time. This is not a 12-rounder, but he still has the ability, perhaps, to pull this out.
3 rounds to go. 2 veteran bantamweights with a lot on the line. Who will move forward and continue their quest to recapture a title belt?
Martinez, you can see it right now, is looking to out-hustle Penalosa at this time. He's trying to pick up his volume of punches. And he's back up on his toes, and he's moving, and he seems energetic. I'm shocked. After 5 rounds, I wouldn't have given a nickel for his ability to go the distance in this fight.
Not after he was dropped in the first, 4th, and then clocked with a combination and an uppercut in the 5th. But the 31-year-old southpaw from Panama, the former titleist, has dug deep. There's a good left hand from Penalosa, and Martinez simply walks away.
He got his shoulder up a little bit to partially block that one.
Pace has slowed a bit here in this 8th round.
I heard a little bit of booing earlier in this round. I wouldn't understand why. These are 2 professionals who are really game, and I think putting on a terrific show.
Well, the expectations after the first 7 rounds were so high that the crowd wanted them to keep it up. These are good, smart fight fans here in El Paso. It's blossomed into a nice fight town. Of course, they will be seeing Juan Lascano and junior featherweight titleist Daniel Ponce de Leon in action later tonight.
I think Martinez is being a little bit affected again by the punches here. I'm looking in his face, I'm looking at that expression, and I think I see something there that he's beginning again to get that kind of worn down look.
Which way you see this 8th round leaning, Rich?
To Penalosa. Although I thought the first 30 seconds were very strong for Martinez, Penalosa appears to me to be picking it up. He's coming real good now, real fast.
There's a left hand, led with it, now on the attack here. So saving his outburst until the final minute of this 8th round, and it has served the Filipino very well. Another left hand behind the jab. Coming up next, 12 rounds between Antonio Escalante and this 27-year-old, Omar Adorno. He was a 16-year-old Olympian for the Puerto Rican national team. Now he finds himself trying to get a hot prospect off track. Adorno and Escalante coming up next.
It's the last round coming up.
Well, I don't believe it is the last round coming up, but nonetheless, that's a bad thing to tell your fighter. As you took a look at Martinez, I thought he was a little bit affected in that round by the punches of Penalosa again.
Bad thing to tell your fighter unless it's a psychological move by trainer Francisco Guzman in the corner of Mauricio Martinez, asking him to let it all hang out here in this 9th round scheduled for 10. I don't think Martinez will be too pleased, though, when he finds out at the end of this 9th round that there's still 3 minutes to go.
When he walks back and they tell him to sit down on the stool.
Something, interestingly enough, that happened between Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti in their classic first fight, when it appeared as though the fight may be over after that epic 9th round. That had a great effect on the 10th round.
Martinez again trying to start the round fast. I've been very impressed with the power that Penalosa has shown in this fight.
How can you not be? It has been sensational. And there's a left hand that wobbles the legs. And now Penalosa jumps on him. He's got 2 minutes to work here in the 9th round.
And he's coming with a flurry of punches.
Left hand again, Rich. It's been there all night. This fight is over.
Very impressive. And if you had any doubts about it, let me say it, Gerry Penalosa is back.
Indeed he is. And all that Filipino Freddie Roach momentum continues on.
Freddie's on a pretty good roll.
You think so? And guess what? The word we heard from the insiders was that the Pac-Man was offering to match the purse for his roommate and best friend Gerry Penalosa if he could win by knockout. I think Penalosa is going to have himself a shopping spree.
That was very impressive, not only because it was spectacular, not only because it came up with 3 knockdowns, but because it came against a quality opponent, a guy ranked in the top 10 legitimately of all the sanctioning organizations and as high as #1, and a guy who's 3 years younger than he is, and we thought still at the peak of his powers.
Penalosa said that Martinez is good, he's strong, but that Penalosa would clearly be better. Take a look back, Rich.
Penalosa, you could see, he was driving it forward the last half of that last round. He wobbled him badly with that straight left hand. That was the key punch tonight, the left cross of Penalosa. Now watch, it's just going to be a high volume of punches as he's going to work. He's looking for the finisher, and Gerry was going to prove in this fight that now he's definitely a good finisher. And again, he finishes him off with the left hand. That thing was it was a thing of beauty tonight, Joe. The straight left hands of Gerry Penalosa. Left crosses out of that southpaw stance. And yes, he said it, I love fighting southpaws, and he proved it again tonight.
Says he feels like a new man, now at 118 pounds, with Freddie and Manny in tow. Gerry Penalosa, an impressive winner. For the official particulars, we send it up to Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight ends with an official time of 1 minute 6 seconds of round number 9. Your winner, by way of knockout, Gerry Penalosa.
Gerry Penalosa, 51st win of his career. He started early, right in the first round, went to work with the left hand, Rich.
Well, this is a guy who's been a professional now. He's in his 3rd decade, 17 and a half years professional, since 1989, Joe. And tonight he showed all of that experience, and he showed enthusiasm, and look at, he's still got the smile of a youngster when he does.
Opening sequence of the fight. Penalosa wastes no time, Rich.
Not at all. He took control in the first round, came out, and with that straight left, gave us a preview. Martinez, look at the way that he went down. You might have thought that that was going to be it. Fourth round after Martinez had enjoyed a couple of good rounds coming back. Again, Penalosa, straight left cross, right over the jab. A beautiful job, and you see that cut, which could cause him some later problems. After hurting him badly in the fifth, he came on again in the ninth round, and just a fusillade of punches. An all-out assault by Gerry Penalosa, who did not want to let this go to the scorecards, and he made sure he closed the show.
Ninth round knockout win for the 34-year-old Gerry Penalosa.